All right, does it feel like you have a stuff problem? I say that there's three types of clutter. There is inner clutter, outer clutter, and others clutter. And the outer clutter is the clutter in our environment. And when we're thinking about clutter, this is the one that seems to drive us batty, crazy. So it's the piles on the counter, the overflowing drawers, it's the 47 browser tabs that are open. But here's what most people don't talk about is that the visible clutter in our lives is the result of the inner exhaustion from mental clutter and the busyness that results from trying to keep up with other people's clutters, other people's expectations. In the last video, I talked about the mental clutter and how to deal with it with a 10-minute fix. So make sure you watch that if it feels like mental clutter is contributing to your physical clutter. And next video, I will create and talk about how to deal with others' clutter, which is especially helpful if you identify as struggling with people-pleasing tendencies, which is what I have done most of my life. So I've got some good tips for you. But if you're an ambitious woman that is trying to build something meaningful in your life, a business, a ministry, a life of impact, trying to juggle multiple things, you're trying to do both, have a family and something that helps others, this video is for you. Because anything that is exhausting to you instead of supporting you will be diminishing of your enjoyment and of your impact. And never underestimate how much it's your enjoyment that fuels the expansion of your impact. I think that God designed this deliberately because He wanted us to be shining lights of what living life more abundantly meant. He wanted productivity in the kingdom to look so much more desirable than productivity the world's way, which is trying to keep up with all the things and being exhausted and feeling like you're burning the candle at both ends. I truly believe that God gave us the Bible so that we could live out His original design from the Garden of Eden in the kingdom after we stepped into the eternal life that Jesus promised us. That's the backstory behind these videos. And that desire to not have a life that was just busy and exhausted, but didn't seem like it was having any impact, is what started me on my own decluttering journey. And the first thing I tackled was my outer clutter, my physical clutter. So what is the definition? Outer clutter is everything that you can see and feel that drains your energy. So it's all that visible stuff, the physical stuff in your home, your environment, the digital noise in your life. And it shows up in three different ways. And by the end of this video, I am going to give you the 15-minute method that I came up with that had me decluttering, and call it the declutter and done method, because instead of making decluttering an ongoing aspect of my life, it actually made it to where I had one major decluttering project about 10 years ago, and then I was able to move on to other projects, other things, other seasons of life. So our outer clutter shows up in three different ways. Number one, too much physical stuff, piles that never seem to get cleared. Two, digital clutter, as in endless apps, endless tabs, endless notifications. And to keep this video short, I'm going to deal with digital clutter probably in a future video. But let's move on to number three, which is the visual clutter. And so that's all the stuff that's just laying around that makes you feel tired even when you don't have too much stuff. And that is because probably it's not that you're messy so much as maybe too many times women think that they have a messy problem when actually they have a busy problem. They just don't have enough time to put everything away. Even though we kind of know that putting things away will take less time than looking for them. But I am going to talk about that busyness in the next video. All right, but here's what I've learned. When mental clutter and the others clutter goes unchecked, they almost always create more outer clutter. We keep things just in case because we haven't decided yet. We've got a bunch of unmade decisions. Or things are laying out because we are too busy to finish what we started. So understanding this real reality that women who are trying to declutter their lives are also incredibly busy, I came up with a totally different method for decluttering. It is easy, it is fun, and it is fast. The Declutter F.A.S.T method, and F.A.S.T is an acronym. So I used to dread decluttering because it always went like this. I would empty out a cabinet, just put everything out, then decide item after item, do I want to keep this? Do I want to keep this? And it felt like, might as well, it's probably safer to keep it than to get rid of it. And then I would get interrupted. The kids would need something and the day would fly by. And then all of a sudden at the end of the day, my husband is coming home from his 10 hours of work to all the kitchen cabinets being emptied on the counter, a complete mess. And he would just calmly tuck it all back onto the cabinets for me to just try another day, creating a big mess, but not actually accomplishing anything. So I finally, after trying multiple methods, I finally came up with a method that worked for me, and hopefully it'll work for you. So number one, we are going to declutter fast, as in F. Focus on one area so small that it can be done in 15 minutes or less. This will keep us from creating a bigger mess. Even if we get interrupted in that 15 minutes, it will still only take 15 minutes to fix it. So I'm talking so small. Your socks, the sock drawer, or maybe the kitchen spatulas and cooking utensils. Very, very small segments, okay? That's step number one. Focus on one small area at a time. Step number two. But before I tell you the 4 steps of the Declutter F.A.S.T method, let me explain the 3 benefits of using it, why it works so well. So benefit number 1 is the 15-minute segments keep us from getting interrupted or overwhelmed. It's huge if you're a busy mom who's also trying to run a business. Secondly, choosing a loving limit eliminates decision fatigue and makes it easy. So in 2 ways. We're only making one decision, and also we're choosing our favorites. Secondly, the way that I do it, where I say choose a loving limit, then that eliminates decision fatigue. If we're making one decision, instead of deciding over and over and over again, should I keep this? Should I keep this? Should I keep this? We're deciding at one point, how many do I want to keep? Okay? And then the third step is my favorite step. By focusing on selecting our favorites, as in deciding what we want to keep instead of what we want to get rid of, then it makes the whole decluttering session fun instead of painful. It literally feels like a shopping spree. It's crazy, but it was the only way that I could get my whole life decluttered. All right, so here is the actual 4 steps of the Declutter F.A.S.T method. Step number 1, F, focus. Focus on one small area at a time, like one drawer, one shelf, one corner, one category, nothing bigger than that. Kids games, kids board games specifically, or necklaces, or socks, or kitchen cooking spatulas. Very small, very contained category. Step number 2, A, assign a loving limit. So what you're going to do is ahead of time, you're going to decide how many of these things do I really need in my life? How many pairs of jeans do I need? How many games can my 4-year-old actually play with? How many necklaces do I want to have? How many coffee mugs do I want? I need a dozen coffee mugs. I probably won't ever have more than 12 people drinking coffee in my house at one time. A dozen sounds like enough. All right, again, pick a number. It'll make the next step way easy because you decided on a number. You decided on a number that made sense to you, and by deciding on a number, it will automatically slow down the impulse buys in the future. Okay, that is how we declutter one time instead of always constantly decluttering. All right, step number 3. I love this step. This is select your favorites. Pretend that you are going on a shopping spree with your own stuff. What are the things that you would reach for first? So this is my favorite pair of jeans. I always love this one. So this one, this one, this one, and just simply count until you get to your number. Okay. Now that you know that you have your 5 or 10 favorites, everything else you can safely get rid of because they're not your favorites. You're not reaching for them anyway. And then that leads us to step number 4, toss the rest. Now, don't freak out at this step. You can donate it, you can sell it, you can recycle it. You get to decide. But I want you to decide exactly which way you want to get rid of, understanding that your time is worth so much more than the stuff that you're getting rid of. The value of your time is inestimable. Who knows what the value of your time is? This is just stuff that is easily replaced. So, whatever feels like is the easiest way for you to toss it out of your life, go ahead and do that. All right. That's the 4 steps. Focus on one small area, assign a loving limit, select your favorites, and then toss the rest. It might start out a little bit difficult, but as you repeat these steps over and over again, it'll get easier and easier. And think about it this way. Every 15 minutes that you declutter a small area, I want you to celebrate. Tell somebody about it. Celebrate it yourself. Because then you're reinforcing that it's worth it to do it again. And also notice that every time that you declutter an area for 15 minutes, it's like you are buying 15 minutes back in your life for the rest of your life. I promise you guys, this is the method that I use. And I started with drinking glasses in my kitchen. And I just did one small category at a time, one small category. And finally, I was finished. And because I had assigned loving limits, then it immediately made me realize I don't need to keep on garage sailing. I don't need to keep on shopping for stuff. I actually have enough already in my house. And now I only need to shop when it's time to replace something. So the one in, one out. This has freed up so much of my time, my energy, my attention. I would not be creating a YouTube video for you today. I would not be running a coaching business. I would not be enjoying getting off this call or this video in just a couple of minutes and going and having a real long lunch with my best friend. All these blessings in my life if I hadn't dealt with the overwhelm of my physical stuff. And I want that for you. So listen to this video on repeat if you need to as you're doing it. Put it in the comments below. What's one area that you are looking forward to decluttering down to just your favorites? And remember, our outer clutter isn't really about the stuff. It's actually representative of the stolen space, the stolen time, and the stolen peace from our lives. But just imagine how amazing it's going to feel as you reclaim that space, that time, and that energy and that peace back into your life. Little category by little category, little step by little step. You'll just be making more room for more enjoyment, for a greater impact, for all the things in your life that you truly desire to be giving your time, energy, attention, and money to. So I can't wait to hear from you in the comments. And if you would like an additional tool, I have the 1-minute decision filter, and that is 3 simple questions that will have you making your decisions more confidently in under a minute. If you'd like to grab that, go to aprilbragg.com/decide and you can download it there. All right. And then next week's video, we are going to talk about the other clutter, other people's stuff. Okay? Can't wait to talk about this. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.